Hello friends, let's read a book. Good Night, Sir Kermit by Michaela Muntean, illustrated by Sue Venning. Jim Henson's Muppet Babies. Good night, Sir Kermit. It was a summer evening, the kind when bedtime arrives before it is dark. I don't like having to go to bed while it's still light outside, Kermit sighed. We could be playing in the park. Try playing with your toes, Gonzo suggested. That always makes me sleepy. Sleep is a waste of time, Kermit decided. When I grow up, I'm going to stay up as late as I want and do all kinds of exciting things. I may never go to sleep. Then he reached out and took a big storybook from the nursery bookshelf. The storybook was filled with pictures of knights in shining armor and fire-breathing dragons and huge castles surrounded by moats. I bet the babies who lived back then had exciting lives, said Kermit. They probably stayed up all night fighting dragons and having fun. Kermit studied a picture of a gray stone castle. It must have been great to live in a place like this, he thought. You would never run out of rooms to explore. I wonder what's behind the castle. I wish I could see. Suddenly, Kermit was no longer looking at a picture. He was peeking around the corner of a real castle. A castle just like the one in his storybook. Now he could see that behind the castle was a beautiful garden. In the middle of the garden was a pond filled with lily pads. And on one of the lily pads, a frog who was just about his own size lay sleeping. That frog looks familiar, Kermit thought, and he jumped into the pond to have a better look. As Kermit neared the lily pad, the sleeping frog woke with a start. Who goes there? He cried. Then he saw Kermit and shrugged his shoulders. Never mind, he mumbled sleepily. I thought you were the dragon. You must have been dreaming, Kermit laughed. Dragons aren't real. They're only in storybooks. Of course they're real, the other frog answered. They're just as real as I am, and I am Sir Lancelot, Knight of the Pond Table. My name is Kermit, said Kermit. But I'm not a knight. I'm just a plain old Kermit. You're lucky, Sir Lancelot sighed, because if you were me, you would have to fight the dragon today. Are you afraid? Kermit asked. No, I'm exhausted, Lancelot moaned. I stayed up all night dancing. Dancing is my favorite thing to do. But if I had been a good knight, I would have gotten a good night's sleep. Now I'm really in trouble. Sir Lancelot then told Kermit his sad tale. A fire-breathing dragon had charged into the nearby town, demanding to marry the lovely Princess Pigdolin. Lancelot was in love with Pigdolin and had challenged the dragon to a duel. Whoever could fight the longest would win the beautiful princess. Whoever got tired and stopped would lose. But I've had so little sleep, wailed Lancelot. I can barely stand up, let alone fight. The dragon actually looks kind of nice. Look, he has flowers in a present. Maybe he's a nice dragon. Kermit felt terribly sorry for the exhausted knight and wanted to help. What if I fight the dragon for you? He suggested. I'm wide awake. Oh, thank you, said the grateful knight, shaking Kermit's hand. My armor and horse are behind that big rock. Be sure to wake me up when it's over. And good luck. Kermit was so excited he could hardly put on the armor. He clinked and clanked around a bit, but he finally got it right and climbed on the horse. Then he headed toward town. Kermit arrived to find a large crowd gathered to watch the duel. He rode closer until he had a good view of the dragon's huge golden eyes and glistening gold and green scales. The dragon looked strong, as though he could fight for a long, long time. "Dancelot, my hero," Princess Pigdolin was calling. "You must save me from this monster. He has been running around breathing fire and smoke all night, waiting for you." Uh-oh. "So the dragon has been up all night too, has he?" murmured Kermit as he took his position in front of the huge monster. "That gives me an idea." When the duel began, Kermit tried to remember every lullaby he had ever heard. He sang them to the dragon one by one. He sang "Rock-a-bye Dragon." He sang "Go to sleep, little dragon," and "Dream, sweet dragon, dreams." Slowly, the dragon's eyes began to close. He sank to his knees, then stretched out on the ground. Soon, he was sound asleep. So clever. No fighting. "Hip hurrah! Long live Sir Dancelot!" cheered the crowd. They cheered softly so as not to wake the dragon. "My hero," sighed Princess Pigdolin. Pigdolin. "You have conquered the dragon, and now we can be married." She leaned over to give Kermit a kiss. "Oh no," thought Kermit. "This is going too far. Fighting dragons is one thing, but marrying a princess is another. I'd better get the real Sir Dancelot." "Excuse me, your royal pigginess," Kermit said with a bow. "I fear I have forgotten something very important. I will return shortly." Kermit rode to the garden as quickly as he could. The real Frog Knight was waking up just as he arrived. "Hurry," said Kermit as he took off the armor and handed it to Dancelot. "Put yourself in this tin suit. We've got to get you back so you can marry the princess." As they galloped along, Kermit told Dancelot everything that had happened. "And if I were really you," Kermit said at the end of the story, "I would find something useful for that dragon to do when he wakes up." The preparations for the wedding feast were well underway when the dragon finally awakened. He was very disappointed to find out that he had lost both the duel and the princess. "Sigh, sigh, sigh," breathed the dragon, and every time he sighed, a flame flickered out of his mouth. "Look!" exclaimed Princess Pigdolin in amazement. "He's roasting all the marshmallows with his fiery breath." Kermit and Dancelot stared at the dragon and then at each other. They both had the same idea. What's their idea? Do you know? "How would you like a job as royal chef?" Sir Dancelot asked the dragon. The dragon was delighted because he loved to cook. His first job, of course, was to finish the wedding feast. He stewed tomatoes for tomato soup, he grilled the grilled cheese sandwiches, and he melted chocolate for hot fudge sundaes à la dragon. Look how happy he is. See? He's just a sweet dragon. Kermit had a wonderful time at the wedding, but after his busy day, he was finally beginning to feel sleepy. Dancelot thanked Kermit for everything he had done. Then he asked him to kneel. Drawing his sword, Dancelot said, "For your bravery and untiring devotion, I now dub thee Sir Kermit, Knight of the Pond Table." Kermit looked up, but he did not see Sir Dancelot. Instead, he saw Nanny, who was tucking him into his own little crib. "Good night, Kermit," she said. "Yes, Nanny," Kermit murmured sleepily. "I guess I am a good knight. And like all good knights, I'm ready for a good night's sleep." The end. Good night, Sir Kermit. by Michaela Muntean, illustrated by Sue Venning. Jim Henson's Muppet Babies. That was sweet. All that yawning made me a little sleepy. Excuse me. Goodbye.